Welcome to Luminata. Thanks for coming out tonight. The passage of the sun through the heavens annually is an image of the development of the light in the human soul. And the winter solstice represents the birth of the light out of darkness. And so all the holidays at the time of the winter solstice represent this emergence of the divine light within our souls. And so it's a very sacred and important time. And tonight John is going to be talking on the subject of receiving the light, and giving and receiving are divine gifts, or you could say that a divine law operates through all our giving and receiving, the fundamental divine law upon which this physical universe is based. So the great teacher 2,000 years ago said that it is more blessed to give than to receive, but it is equally important to know how to receive. And when we learn the law of giving, then we open ourselves to receive an unending flow of abundance from the universal cornucopia. But we have to know how to receive this wonderful flow, not just of things, but of light and of love. So John is going to talk to us tonight about the power and magic of receiving. And John is a gifted shaman who's been trained by the Four Winds Institute with Alberto Villoldo, and also with the Caro Indians of Peru in the high Andes Mountains. So we're always delighted to have John speak and lead us in a guided meditation and a shamanic journey. So please join me in welcoming John Rasmussen. Thank you.
Great, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you all coming out and doing this together. I was on my way over here, I was thinking, we've done this probably going on 4 years or something now here, right? And every solstice and equinox. And I was thinking, wow, I don't want to repeat, the same message, and have it turn out to start to get boring for everybody. Then I realized, thank God the world is delivering us with such crazy drama that each year is impossible that we would have the same thing going on, right? So we could be thankful for that in some way. Which is actually kind of the point I'm going to make tonight. Actually, before I get into it, I just want you to take a moment and maybe close your eyes and just put your hand over your heart and kind of remember what a tender heart you have, that this is really who you are. It's the you that was the little child, and it's still you. And I just want you to feel some love towards that tender part of you. And allow that part of you to receive the light of source, of life. Just warmth. So no matter what's going on, we always have that. That doesn't change. That beautiful heart of gold. Okay. And so, when we come to the end of a cycle, a season, a year, there's a reason all these things are lined up the way they are. There's a reason that we have our modern rituals and Christmas and Santa Claus and all these things, in addition to obviously the deeply shamanic and nature-based versions of that. And it throughout history has been a time that the shamans, the prophets, the seers, the healers of the village, of the community, took advantage of the long night, the longest night of the year, to journey, to dream and journey the way we do. And, in Siberia, it was the red and white mushrooms that the reindeer would eat, and then the shamans would take something from that and drink it, and then fly on this journey out the chimney of the yurt, and come back with messages, wisdom, inspiration, healing for the village. And that was the gift. That was the gift they were bringing back. These were gifts of healing, of wisdom, and of vision or inspiration, right? So now this is what we still do. We have this red and white being come in through the chimney with the reindeer and with gifts, right? And so, you give the little science kit to the little girl, and she's inspired to become a scientist or an astronaut or a healer or a visionary shaman, So we still kind of do it, but I think it's kind of neat to think about it in terms of the original. And all of us here, the reason that you all came here interested in this is because you're the Santa Clauses, you're the you're the visionaries, the shamans that are going to journey tonight together and bring back gifts for the ones you love, for the rest of your community, who aren't here tonight, who maybe some would have been, and they'll see the video that I always do and post of these things after, But the idea being that this is our opportunity, of course, to give to the world that which we are able to receive tonight. So we don't have to give until we really receive something from our own journey, our own vision, our own dreaming. So this is the idea. And we don't have to eat mushrooms necessarily to do that here. We have other ways of doing it. Different parts of the world had different ways of accessing, the altered state. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use my rattles, and we're going to get into that altered state and be able to do some nice journeying here. But before we do that, in fact, I usually will open sacred space, so we might as well do that now, and then we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll do the journey. But this is just, again, to set the space for our journey into the realms of spirit, into the realms of the non-physical world in a way that is safe for us, right? We're going on this journey, and there's all kinds of interesting things out there, just as there are in the physical world when you go on a journey. So we want to be safe, we want to be held, we want to be protected by our team of non-physical beings and the forces of nature. So that's what we'll do. And so we'll stand up, if you would, and we'll face south first. And everybody, again, every tradition has different sort of metaphors that are real. These metaphors aren't just thoughts and ideas. When we call, we're really calling on these archetypal forces of nature, and they could be represented by different animals and different traditions and different elements, but it's the same archetype. So just know that whoever it is for you, it's yours. You in your mind want to thank and acknowledge those archetypes for you. To the winds of the south, Sachamama, Hatunamaru. Great serpent, mother of the waters, the rivers, the galaxies, the roads that bring us together, hold us in this healing space. Wrap your coils of light around us and help us to shed any heavy energies that would hold us back and hold us down. And do this all at once. right here, right now, so that we can walk in beauty, we can journey in beauty, gently on ourselves and on the earth. Be with us. Hold. And to the west. To the winds of the west. Otorongo, great jaguar, puma. You who've seen the birth and death of 1,000 galaxies, 1,000 universes, come. Hold us in your power. Protect this medicine space. Help us to leap beyond any of our old doubts and limiting myths and ways of fear and guilt and shame and violence, and instead to be the luminous beings that we really are, the children that we are, so that we can leap into who we are becoming, so that we can dream our world into being with great ease and beauty beyond where it's been done before. Be with us. To the winds of the north, great healers, wisdom keepers, lineages of all, ancestors and guardians of this land. Come hold us in the ancient wisdom, the wisdom to come. We honor you who come before us and you who will come after us, our children's children. Help us take our seats with you we've never left as joyful, childlike, powerful co-creators. And hummingbirds, Siwarkenti, come help us to drink of the nectar of life, to receive unconditionally during our epic journeys, even when the journey seems difficult and the contrast seems great. Help us to be able to do that which seems impossible as you do. Be with us. To the winds of the east, Hatunkuntur, Apuchin, great condor, eagle. Help us to soar high, help us to have the broadest perspective and the clearest vision, non-judgment, just a beautiful vision of our ideal destiny for ourselves, for our village, for the world. And help us to bring that to earth, to manifest it, to grow corn with it, to embody it. And help us to listen to our bodies and use our feelings and emotions to ask and pray for that vision. And to know, to guide us, that our thoughts, our focus, our dreams are aligned with that ideal destiny. So that we can fly wing to wing with great spirit, with self-effort and grace. Be with us. And to the earth, our beautiful mother. Thank you, Mother. Thank you for being our true mother. For being in our bodies, the air, the water, all your children, the stone people, the plant people, the two-legged, the four-legged, the creepy crawlers, the fin, the furred, and the winged ones. All our relations that we come here to celebrate with, that we've co-created with since the beginning, since you were nothing but the stone people, with the tear of fire from the sun, and that warmth and that support have created this magnificent garden. And we come back to this garden and we take it beyond where it's been before with your support. New levels of beauty and joy and experience, so that consciousness can expand and play here on your belly, here in these bodies. Thank you, Mother, and thank you for taking all the heaviness that we process as part of this theater, the contrast, and mulching it for us as you do our waste, so that we can be free to continue to take life beyond where it's been before. Thank you, Mother. Ho. Into the heavens. Inti Taita, Father, Son, Mama Kia, Grandmother Moon, Hatun Chaska, star brothers and sisters, thank you for showering us with your light, your cycles that make life possible for us. And doing this unconditionally without judgment, teaching us to treat ourselves and each other this way. And Great Spirit, Iliticha Wirakocha Wakantanka, God, creator of all that is, you are known by 1,000 names, yet the innameable one that dwells within us and all around us in all forms. Thank you for bringing us together to sing this song of life one more day, to dance this dance of co-creation, to take it beyond where it's been before. Thank you for all those you've brought to us to help us, show us our potential, show us vision, take us to our next level of creation, of co-creation. Oh. Thank you. So one really valuable thing to do at this time of the change of the cycle of the new year, of the next set of seasons, is to think back on the challenges, the contrasts, the painful things that have occurred to you in this last year, this last set of cycles. And recognize the gifts in it. Recognize how you learned from it, how you've grown, how you've gained clarity. The contrast is great because it helps us with clarity. It helps us realize what we don't want, what we prefer to have going forward. So it's all good, and so this is a perfect time to, and we're going to do this in the journey. We're going to take a moment as we journey to sort of take a look at those gifts, take a look at whatever it is that this year has brought you, that hurt, that was painful, that was a struggle, that was anything like that. Externally, internally, and just recognize it for what it's done to help you to more powerfully ask with more emotion and more clarity, for what you would like to see instead going forward this next year, this next cycle, for example, and 10,000 years into the future if you'd like to, So it's a wonderful exercise in the sort of homework that I give some of my clients when it comes to dreaming their world into being, to asking and receiving what they would prefer. It's like, do it with movement and emotion, reaching literally for it, because it matters. It makes a difference. There's a level of our being that corresponds to the body and movement and ritual and ceremony. We call it the mythic in this tradition, the shamanic traditions. And the access to that mythic is through ritual, symbols, movement, art, poetry, not just the mind, not just sitting, thinking and meditating. That's a great thing to do for the mind and to clarify your mind. But it's really great to also get into something that evokes this power that you all hold. In fact, I was just working with a client the other day about this and suggested, it just occurred to me, I don't know if you've seen the movie lately about Bohemian Rhapsody with Freddie Mercury, right? Just watch him on stage, do that. His movements are very emotional, right? And it's like, yes, that's a good example of how you evoke this powerful signal and really make things happen. So embarrass yourself. I guess is what I'm saying, and yeah, so I think it's always good to end this kind of cycle at this moment, this winter solstice, to take a moment, right, to first recognize what have I gained? What have I received? What have I allowed myself to receive? And if I haven't received it, if I didn't see it that way yet, now's a good time. Now's a good time. Take the gifts, take it. You worked for it, you struggled for it, you suffered for it, right? So please, take the gift from that. That's all, you have to do. And then this next year will bring a new set of contrasts and of drama here in the theater, but hopefully it's kind of this upward movement for you. The contrast still remains sort of the same, but ideally your ability to be more clear and in your power and getting better at being a positive influence for the world, right? Bringing that Santa Claus who journeys, finds some gifts, some wisdom, some inspiration, and is able to actually have that so that when somebody asks, it's there. That's who you are. That's who you have the potential to be. So I think it's time for us to just do those things. These are ancient things that have been done, but we lost a little bit of it, right, in our modern way of celebrating, and we can reclaim it. But it's really simple. It's not complicated, right? You take the opportunity based on the contrast you've experienced, the emotion, and you journey, and you find the gifts, and you bring it back, and you have it for anyone who's asking. So let's do that. Any questions before we do this? I like to open it up a little. We got it? Makes some sense? Yeah? Okay, so as we do this journey, remember that it's not so much the mind that's important, that you sort of do a good job or get it right or see very clearly. These altered states are often confounding to the mind. The shaman would come back from these things and be sort of a little bit like unclear what just happened. They come back. And yet the next opportunity for something to come through, a month later, a week later, it can come through. It comes through. The words come through because it's there. It's in you. It's in your energy field. It's in your luminous body. It's in your subconscious layer. That's the beauty of this type of journeying, is that it's not just I'm not just asking you to think. I'm engaging this deeper part of your being right through the journey, and we're supported by all these beings that just are like, yes, my brothers and sisters, my children, let me help you. You're being helped. You're always being helped. And that's another good thing to remember. You're not doing this alone. You're not the first to do this. This is something that has a history, right? And we know all the religions are based on it. These are beings that did this, and then they wrote about them. So they're there, and they're there for us to get help from, especially when this is not as, maybe not as clear as you'd like it to be. So it's okay. It's totally okay. So as I guide you on this journey and you're able to acknowledge it in here, in your mind, that's great. But if there's parts that just kind of go blank, or you're sort of out of it for a moment, that's okay too. It's still happening. There's a deeper part of you that's still totally engaged in this. All right? Okay, so closing your eyes, a little bit of a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And we're going to connect to this beautiful flame that's burning next to me, that is a representation of the bands of sunlight that have come down to the earth and have become a fuel of sorts, and are being released again as we light them. So we're using the stars, the sun is a star, and we're connecting to that fire. And so I want you to imagine that you're sitting around a fire out in the open sky. And we're all sitting around this beautiful fire. And the stars are bright above, and the full moon shining, reflecting the light of the sun. And we can even feel the warmth of the stars and the moon. And the warmth of the fire. So we're bathed in that light that is pure grace, that is not something that we could ever earn or ever have to earn. It's always there for us. And we're just sitting, staring at that fire. And that fire becomes a part of us, becomes a part of our energy field. It is who we are, after all. A fire burning within, elements of the earth that forms our bones and our cells. The stone people and the plant people that live within us, in our gut, bacteria, in our bones. The elements of our flesh. We are earth and we are sun. And the source behind it all. And so from that perspective, the eternal source, the eternal sunlight and starlight and earth that you are, you can witness your consciousness, your unique consciousness that is here playing in the theater with the rest of us unique consciousnesses. And you're observing like an eternal mother and father observing a young child. And looking back on this life, and particularly this last year, watching how you reacted to everything you saw, every other being that you interacted with. And recognizing only the play. No victim, no perpetrator, no rescuer, just a play. Good experiences, of pleasurable experiences, and painful experiences. Like watching Shakespeare, you're like, wow, that was amazing. I really learned something about myself from that. And And I learned something about the theater. I learned about something I'd like less of and something I'd like more of. I learned how I would prefer to react no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. And from this eternal light that you are, this connection to the eternal source and worlds of spirit that go from lifetime to lifetime, from that very broad perspective. You're filled with gratitude for what gifts you've received from this last year, this drama, the theater. These are valuable gifts. They may remain wrapped for a while. Maybe nobody unwraps them for a while. But when they do, what joy. These gifts last forever. You're the Christmas tree with all the gifts piled underneath. You're the one who comes back from the journey. With the reindeer and other animals. Ready to give these gifts. You've traveled the universe, you've traveled amongst the stars, your star brothers and sisters. And the entire universe and all the beings, physical and non-physical, have bestowed these gifts upon you. Have loaded you up to bring back to your community. This is why you went through what you went through. This is why it wasn't perfect and you weren't perfect. There would be nothing to give, nothing to receive. So we celebrate all of it. And we celebrate the grace of the universe, and of Source, and of the stars, and the sun, and the great beings who've done this before us. whose shoulders we stand on, to continue to move creation and consciousness forward, to continue to expand to ever greater beauty. So you have fully received and integrated and acknowledged the gifts of this last year, this last cycle. So when the similar circumstances arise in this next cycle, you will react differently. There won't be a need to feel pain around it. You will be lighter and freer and more in your power as the choice, the creator of your own experiences. And therefore an inspiration to anyone who is around you. You're the jolly old, somewhat beat up Santa Claus. But totally healed and totally healthy and happy, free, shining bright. Find yourself back around the fire. You yourself, that fire and that earth, shining bright, having fully received the fullness of spirit in this way. Such grace and such beauty. And if you find yourself back in this time and space, in this chair, take a deep breath. Feel the breath coursing through you. Feel the power of that breath, the way it resonates with every cell of your body, every part of your luminous body. From head to toe and toe to head. Stoking the fire within you and within each cell. The beautiful oxygen. And as you open your eyes, find the candlelight if you can, and just gaze at it for a little bit. Feel it resonating within you. Knowing that you have that eternal fire within you, you always will. And it will keep burning with the fuel you keep receiving from Spirit, because you allow yourself to. Because it is your birthright, just for being here. Nothing you have to do, nowhere you have to go, nothing you have to know. It's just simple. Okay. Ho, ho, ho. Interesting how that matches too. So there's always, there's this beautiful moment and journey, and then there's going home, going out the door. And so I would love for you, I always give homework, right, to my clients, and after doing this kind of work, it's always nice to anchor something at home. So what would be a good way to anchor this journey and this vision? What would be maybe a picture of you with a light and gifts or something, create a little what we call destiny altar. If you already have an altar, put your picture on there. You belong there. You're that. You're all the things on your altar. You are. All these things live within you. These are not separate from you. These aren't great beings that have come and gone. These all live within you. You are all of it. So, just put something on your altar that represents you in this way.
There it is.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So these are the stars, the heavens, and this is the earth.
Every culture has a different, appearance of this being, right? Of the one who journeys and brings back the gifts. Like I said, in the Siberian, you can look this up, you can Google this, you'll see the woman wearing the red and with the white representing that mushroom that she uses from, that part of the world. And you'll see, in the other religions and traditions, that's whatever they look like at that moment, right? So this is what I see. You're all part of your community. You can just look the way you look and be that. No special clothing required, so to speak, or haircut or anything. And I would encourage you as well to use that method, in addition to, like I said, the movements and the emotions. You can use rattles, drums, any way you want to enhance your ability to journey, to go into that altered state and go get gifts and what you need. You know, even just dreaming at night. I love sleeping these long nights longer if I can, because so much happens during that time, right? Because we're not limited so much by this waking state. So it's a nice, if you intend, it's a nice way to, again, without having to remember your dreams or engage, have it come consciously here, it's there. That's why when you have deja vu, you've traveled into the future and you've seen it already, and you come back and you don't remember, but then it happens and you go, oh wait, this happened before, right? Because you went there, and that's in some state, typically sleep, typically dream state. Or when you just happen to have that right answer, that right thing to say, that feeling like I should just turn left now, and something happens or doesn't happen. You know, it's like all that is coming from that knowledge that you have gained in that mythic part of your being, subconscious. But when you need it, it's there, or that perfect thing to say or to help somebody. So just know that's all very real, and you all have it. It's here. So thank you very much for again coming tonight, allowing me to share this with you. It's always a great honor, and I'm so grateful to Emery and Maya for this too. So thank you.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Terrific. And of course, we don't charge for the events, but we have a couple love offering baskets. So if you feel inclined, please do give a gift. And thank you all for coming. I want to say also a little commercial announcement. We are open now for shopping if you still need to do some shopping, and open, of course, till Christmas, through 5 o'clock Christmas Eve. And that's that. So yeah, it's a great time of year. So thank you so much, and thanks, John, again.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Yes.
So is this a new book you've written?
No, it's a new cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just
He
changed.
ran out of ideas, so he just
Yeah. I might have changed 1 or 2 words in there somewhere.
Oh, all right, Vinny.
But no. No, I just
Second
just tried a
printing?
different cover.
So like second printing?
Yeah, kind of like that,
That's
right?
good.
I updated a few things like my, website or something, sort of, but nothing, But, yeah. That's a picture a good friend of mine took it in Peru on a trip high in the Altiplano in the mountains, and this beautiful lagoon, and so it's nice to use that. Yeah. All right.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.